About 2 months ago, Mind's Desire was unbanned in Legacy. I played a video featuring Sapphire, Medallion, Snap, Faeries, and a ton of other sweet cards. Today we're running it back with Spellseeker and Jace, Wielder of Mysteries. Let's go check it out. This is it. This is the deck list that we're playing today, and if you saw that first video that you can find in the card above, we played Snap in our High Tide deck because it generates mana with Faeries and Sapphire Medallion and High Tide. This was the key component to the deck. These are easy to play spells that generate Storm from Mind's Desire while making mana. It's just really, really convenient. But one of the things we found in that video is that Snap only had 4 targets, which were Faeries. So today we're playing a couple copies of Spellseeker over Merchant Scroll, and then we're playing an Echoing Truth, because Echoing Truth can bounce 4 Faeries or a couple copies of Spellseeker to generate Storm, mana, cards, whatever. Another card we're playing that's changed is a Jace, Wielder of Mysteries. That's because this card beats Veil of Summer. You can exile your whole deck to Mind's Desire or deck yourself with Brain Freeze, and I think that's a pretty innovative take that the High Tide community has found. So I'm really excited to try this card today. Those are the major changes. If you have any other thoughts, comments, questions, suggestions, whatever, put those in the comment section down below. I'd be happy to hear from you. But for now, we're going to hop on into match number 1. I'll see you there. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, early access to videos, exclusive members-only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, cyborg guides, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, like theepicswarm.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via theepicswarm.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. Welcome to match number 1. We're on the draw, and I've opened up no lands. We have to take a mulligan. This seems decent. We'll keep. And bottom a Sapphire Medallion. Basic Mountain. We drew a Lorien Revealed. We'll just play the Flooded Strand and pass. Our opponent plays a Great Furnace. And Goblin Engineer, so we're facing Painter. Interesting. Sure. On their end step, we will fetch, grab a basic, and then cycle this Lorien Revealed, grabbing another island. Another Sapphire Medallion, okay. We'll play the first one, and then pass the turn. Bloodstained Mire, Mox Opal, Storm is 1, another Goblin Engineer, okay. They grab a Grindstone. Interesting. Time Spiral. I would have loved a third land here. Let's ponder. Okay, so if I play Faeries, untap both lands, High Tide, Snap, I think that might do it. So Faeries, untap, High Tide, Snap floating 1. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that works. I mean, we would need none of the 3 cards in our opponent's hands to have text on them, but I think I'm down to try this. Play the Faeries. Looks like it will resolve. Untap, untap. High Tide. Snap Faeries. And that resolves. Good deal. Tap for mana. We'll now play another Faeries. Storm is 5. And this is the real advantage to playing this list, is that our Storm count's incredibly high right now. Turnabout is just such a clunky card, and if your engine that you want to win with is Mind's Desire, then I don't think that playing Turnabout makes sense. At least to me. And now we'll cast Mind's Desire for 7. Okay. Looks pretty good so far. There's 1 Mind's Desire left on the stack. Let's cast Brainstorm. Put back a Time Spiral and another Brainstorm, I think. And then the final Mind's Desire reveals another land. Okay. Let's play a land. Let's fetch. Storm is 18. Let's attempt to draw 3 cards. Echoing Truth on Goblin Engineer. Interesting. So they just have nothing. High Tide. Storm is 11. Faeries. Now we'll untap 2 lands. Tapped another land, so that way this Faeries will untap. Storm is 13. Untap, untap. We'll play our Spellseeker. Yes, I would like that to resolve. We'll go grab Brain Freeze. We'll pay 3 mana and draw 3 cards using Lorien Revealed. And our opponent has seen enough. We have taken game number 1 over Painter. Alright, against the deck with a ton of red elemental blasts, I don't think we really want Force of Will. I think that the game plan for us should be to fight them using Pact of Negation and Flusterstorms. And I think I want to board out Sapphire Medallion and try to be a little bit slower in the post-board games. I know that seems a little bit weird, but it makes sense to me, so that's what we're going to try. You could also try Teferi's Realm in this matchup. I'm just not sure a blue enchantment is good versus Painter. We will mulligan that. Yikes. Going to 5. I guess we'll get rid of a Spiral and a land. Okay. Great Furnace into Goblin Welder. A Cloud of Faeries. Let's cast Ponder. These seem like fine cards. We'll keep. They play an Urza's Saga. Soul Guide Lantern. I don't care about that. Come on, get in there. Yeah. Alright, 19. Let's play a Ponder. See if they'll use a Blast on this. They don't. I mean, so far our draws have been decent. Now we'll pass the turn. They draw a card. Urza Saga moves up to 2 counters. Plateau. Alright, so they're now representing lethal. I'm not a big fan. I am not a fan. And they choose black. Interesting. So you don't have... I guess all of my cards are already blue, so... Alright, that's fair. What to do. I guess we don't need land 4 at the moment, but I pretty much have to find a snap or else I'm dead. We'll fetch. Play Ponder. We will shuffle. I believe I am dead. Unfortunate. Maybe you're not allowed to take out forces in this matchup, but they had a Goblin Welder anyway. Alright, I'm not going to show them my deck. We can just go to game number 3. Once again, I am not a High Tide expert, but I do think I'm going to try boarding out the Flusterstorms after seeing that. And let's have Force of Will and Pact of Negation. Pact of Negation can cover the Red Blast. Force of Will cover me staying alive. Let's try that again. Sure, this seems okay. Polluted Delta, and we will pass. Ancient Tomb. Thorn of Amethyst. Can't say that I'm a big fan of that. Yeah, that's going to resolve. We'll cycle Lorien Revealed. Okay. Another Time Spiral. Well, another 6 mana payoff. We do have Spellseeker into Echoing Truth for this, but I boarded out my natural counter to this, which would have been the Sapphire Medallion. So, feeling a little bit foolish right now, and they follow up with a Painter's Servant. I am not loving my odds right now. Wow! They just had it all. Jeez Louise. Yep. I am in trouble. On their end step, we'll cycle the Cloud of Faeries. Okay, we draw Brainstorm. Play the island and pass. Our opponent attacks. I mean, the world is their oyster. They have to mess up in order for me to win. And, yeah. So I could have Brainstormed on the end step, but they would have just activated the Grindstone in response. And they got me. So we have lost a Painter in round number 1. Maybe I boarded incorrectly. I'm not really sure. You're allowed to scorch me in the comment section. But this seemed absolutely brutal. And we're 0-1. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. They support over 30 formats, including Legacy and many other Eternal formats. There are so many options to view decks the way that you want, from text view to individual cards, mana value, and even card price. There's also light mode and dark mode. My personal favorite feature is card tags. This way you can sort cards by function. Moxfield supports collection tracking, Scryfall search, decklist feedback, and so much more. Follow me on Moxfield.com so you can stay updated on all of my decks. Round number 2, I have no idea what our opponent's playing. They're on the play, we're on the draw. I think this hand just might be a little too slow. Even though it has Force of Will, I'm not convinced. Yay. Okay, we'll go to 5. Keep this, get rid of Echoing Truth and a Lorien Revealed. Cloud Post, okay. Spiral was a good draw, we'll cast Ponder. We find Snap, Force of Will. I'm just going to shuffle because I'm just looking for High Tide at the moment. Spellseeker does get High Tide. Our opponent plays a Besiege You into Green Sun Zenith. That's fine by me. Okay, they grab an Elvish Reclaimer. Brainstorm, quite a good draw. Yeah, I mean, I love this. We'll get rid of Brainstorm and the Lorien Revealed. And then we're just going to ponder, looking for that high tide. We will shuffle. Yeah, I don't need any of that. And we find land 4. Okay. Our opponent plays a Glimmer Post. The One Ring, sure. I guess Jace, Wielder of Mysteries also beats that. Not something I expected to happen this league, but that is a sweet thing that it can do. I believe I'm going to play Ponder and Sapphire Medallion. We'll keep the snaps. I guess one snap, because I'm going to fetch the other away. Play the Medallion, pass the turn. They draw the... Okay, they draw 2 cards, adding a second counter to the One Ring. Bear with me, I'm still a little bit sick. I'm not all there. No, not a real excuse, but it is the truth. I'm still recovering from being really sick last week. I didn't record any videos for a week up until yesterday. Definitely fell behind just a hair. Our opponent plays another copy of Cloud Post, which means that the Cloud Post in play will tap for 3 now. We draw Cloud of Faeries. That was great. Okay, so we will start by using the polluted delta to go grab an island. I don't want to get the Mystic Sanctuary. I don't want to create an opportunity for like crop rotation and a wasteland to beat me. So we will Spellseeker. This resolves, yes. Go grab a High Tide. Cast the High Tide. And then I'll tap our island to play Cloud of Faeries. Untap 2 lands. And then I'll snap the Elvish Reclaimer. Untap. Cast Time Spiral. We found the Brain Freeze. I love that. Okay, so why don't we start by casting Lorien Revealed. Let's draw 3. Play Ponder. Yeah, I definitely want all of these. Cast High Tide. Brainstorm. Put back 2 lands. We'll snap the Spellseeker. Untap. Replay the Spellseeker to shuffle that Brainstorm. Yes. And then we'll grab another Ponder. We're really looking for a Mind's Desire. We'll play Ponder. Because I'm willing to bet that our opponent... Ooh, that probably wins. Ooh, I love that. We get to win the hard way. Alright, we'll play Cloud of Faeries. This room is 13, so if we cast Brain Freeze, we would mill, I don't know, 42 cards? That seems like it's good enough to me. Let's cast Brain Freeze targeting ourselves. Yeah, nice Eldrazi deck. I'm targeting me. Love this. I mean, I wanted Mind's Desire so I could find a Jace, Wielder of Mysteries, and then I just found the Jace, Wielder of Mysteries on its own. Back when I was a young person in the earlier aughts, Solidarity was initially one of the best 3 decks in Legacy. So Legacy split from Type 1.5 in 2004. And Solidarity, the instant speed reset High Tide deck, was a top 3 deck. And a regular play pattern in that deck was to Brain Freeze yourself into Flash of Insight. And just getting some memories of that while Brain Freezing myself now. Jace, Wielder of Mysteries. And then we will plus Jace on ourselves. And we win. Sweet. Love that. Alright. Do we want to change anything for the post-board games? I don't think so. I'm just going to re-click Submit. Game number 2, we're on the draw, and this hand is quite good. We will keep. What we're really looking for out of this hand is just more lands so we can use Spellseeker to go get High Tide. Once upon a time. Our opponent finds a Primeval Titan. Carpet of Flowers. Okay. Sure. Well, there's the High Tide. So now all we need are more lands. I'll grab an island. You can't really afford to play around Carpet, so just play through. Lorien Revealed is a guaranteed second land. However, I don't know if I really want any of these cards. I guess we should probably keep. Snap is good with the Cloud of Faeries too. Alright. Our opponent makes 1 green off of the carpet. Plays a Beseju who endures. Green Sun Zenith for 1. That's fine by me. We're going to draw the snap for the turn, and then we're going to cycle this Lorien Revealed for another island. Next turn, we could theoretically maybe try to win the game. Grab island, play it, and pass the turn. The Green Soul Ring, Carpet of Flowers. They announced this week that there will be a reprint of this card in the upcoming Doctor Who set, and it will be the first time that Carpet of Flowers ever comes foil, which means you can get your foil copy. I shouldn't say that. My apologies. There's a secret layer that it comes foil. I lied. What I'm truly excited about is it's the first time it will ever be Japanese foil. That's what I care about as someone who uses Japanese foil cards. So I will be getting a set of these whenever they're released out of the Doctor Who set. I forgot about the secret layer version when I initially started that statement. In their main phase, they're activating the Elvish Reclaimer. They grab a Cloud Post. Sure. On their end step, I'm casting Brainstorm. We find land 3. I love that. Okay, let's party. Play the third land. We will now fetch. And let's start off with a High Tide. Cloud of Faeries. Untap, untap. Tap 2 mana. We will then snap the Cloud of Faeries to make mana. Untap, untap. Tap again. Actually, hold on. Let's Spellseeker here. Let's go get another High Tide. Play the High Tide. And then we'll cast Cloud of Faeries. Untap our lands. And now we have next to infinite mana. We'll play Ponder. I was really hoping to hit a Mind's Desire off this. I mean, I guess I will take the Sapphire Medallion. Although I don't feel like mana is going to be a choke point for us. And we'll cast Time Spiral. That looks quite good. Comboing off with 3 lands is very easy when you're on this build. It's possible on the turnabout builds, but it's definitely more difficult. So let's make some more mana here. We will snap our Cloud of Faeries. Untap, untap. Tap. Play Cloud of Faeries. Untap our lands. The world is our oyster. We have so much mana and tons of card draw. We'll Brainstorm. Put back a land and Brain Freeze. We're just going to cast our entire deck this game. We'll play another Cloud of Faeries. Storm is 14. Let's bounce their Reclaimer. Untap, untap. Let's bounce their Reclaimer again. Untap, untap. And now we'll Mind's Desire for 17. Do 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 do. In one of my more recent Mind's Desire videos, I know it's been a couple weeks, I've been all about Beseech Dimir, but people are like, Bryant, why don't you just hit the F6 key, let all of your desires resolve? If you have mana floating, you can then later on, you don't have to click through all of them. The real thing is that I'm just a paranoid person. I know that trick. I just don't want to do it. I think that there's a reasonable chance I will be burned, and I just would rather not. So I don't. We'll cast Ponder, Shuffle, and Mind's Desire. So the rest of our deck is now going to exile, and then we will be able to play a Jace, Wielder of Mysteries with a lot of counterspell backup. And our opponent concedes. Sweet. We are now 1-1 with Desire Tide. I will see you in match number 3. Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Token Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $14.99. This combo token pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens. That includes our classic Storm and mana tokens, as well as fan favorites such as Goblins, Squirrels, and Slime Time Live. But that's not all. We've expanded this token pack to cover a variety of formats with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game. We are back for the third round, and we're on the play. Alright, so we have a wastelandable land in our hand, no High Tide. I think I want to mulligan this. It's just not great. This is a much better hand in my opinion. Keep, and we'll get rid of Snap? Yeah, I think it's Snap. Play Polluted Delta, pass the turn. Our opponent is on 5 cards. They play a Misty Rainforest. Interesting. We will use the Polluted Delta, and then we'll cycle Lorien Revealed. Grab another island. Flooded Strand, okay. Play a Sapphire Medallion. It resolves! You love to see it. Our opponent grabs their own basic island into Ponder, okay. Interesting. Are you saying there's a chance that it's the mirror match? Nope. Probably some degenerate that thinks that Cephalid Breakfast is a cool deck. Yawn. Another Force of Will. So I could Desire for 2 here. I don't know how much I actually like that. I think I'm supposed to pass. Urza's Saga moves up to 2 counters. Polluted Delta. On their end step will fetch. Okay, am I being hit by Opposition Agent here? What's happening? They grab another basic island. Petty Theft. What is happening? Sure. You got it. Draw for turn. They have 4 cards in hand. Another Faeries. We'll replay Sapphire Medallion. Pass. Urza's Saga is on the stack. They'll brainstorm. I'm okay with this. And now we're back to Urza's Saga. Oh, they're on Stifle Knot, huh? No arguments from me. They play an Underground Sea. Likeness Looter, so they can pay X and becomes a copy of a creature with mana value X. Yeah, I don't care about that whatsoever. So they're on some sort of Stifle Knot deck. That's great. I don't beat Cephalid Breakfast very often, so I'm always rooting that my opponent isn't playing it. And then we draw High Tide. How lucky. We'll play a Faeries. Untap. We'll play another Faeries. Storm 3. Unfortunately, our opponent didn't try to Force a Will at any point. Well, Mind's Desire for 4. Spellseeker, Brainstorm. I think I'm just going to let it go. High Tide and a Ponder. I mean, that was a pretty good 4. We'll cast High Tide. Let's Ponder. Faeries, another Ponder. I think we're supposed to take the Ponder. And now we'll Spellseeker. Opponent has 46 cards. I don't think we're going to be able to get high enough to Brain Freeze them out here. So I think we're supposed to grab another Ponder. Yeah, I think it's another Ponder. We'll cast it. High Tide, Lorien Revealed. I believe that this is a shuffle. We find another Lorien Revealed. Let's Ponder. I'm going to keep this, but I'm not sure if I should. Because we're a little bit constrained on mana right now, so I think that's why you're supposed to keep it. And then we'll Lorien Revealed to clear the other 2 cards and see a fresh one. And now we're kind of all in on this Brainstorm being good. Let's cast it. Phew. We got there. Okay, we'll put back a land and Brainstorm. Play the land. Cast High Tide. I guess we'll Lorien Revealed. Why not? And then we'll Spiral. Storm is 15. That should be the ball game. Tap. We'll play another Sapphire Medallion. Storm is 16. Lorien Revealed to draw 3. We'll play another Sapphire Medallion. My Mind's Desire should only cost 2 mana. I firmly believe that. We'll snap our Spellseeker. Untap. Replay the Spellseeker. And now we'll go get Brain Freeze. Let's see if our opponent lets us look at their deck. Brain Freeze, Storm 21. And our opponent concedes. Love it. So Stifle Knot, huh? I mean, probably not the greatest thing versus the deck with main deck snaps and Echoing Truths. I don't think Echoing Truth is actually that great in this matchup, so I'm going to board that out. I think I kind of just want Fluster Storms. I'm going to shave 2 Sapphire Medallions. I think I want to leave a couple. And then like maybe 1 Time Spiral. Or the Spellseekers. Let's try this. I kind of think that Spellseeker isn't super important in this matchup. It doesn't seem like they're I don't know, like a super fast deck. So I think you'll have more time to find the things that matter and protect them. Game number 2, I think we're going to mulligan. Having 2 6-drops is a little clunky. Triple Snap, no second land, no High Tide. Get out of here. This seems fine to me. We'll keep, and I'll get rid of the second copy of Force of Will. Soul Guide Lantern, sure. Another High Tide. I'm going to fetch when we have opportunities where our opponent's tapped out, so my lands don't get stifled. Our opponent draws a card using the Soul Guide Lantern. It looks like they're going to miss their second land drop here. We draw a Fluster Storm. I will fetch. And I'm not going to play the Sapphire Medallion into a possible daze. Instead, I'm just going to pass. They Ponder. I'm not going to counter that. I think going after their cantrips, hoping they miss on lands forever, is a little bit greedy. When all we really need to do is be disciplined, find the third land, play Sapphire Medallion with double counter backup. They did find that land. And they play an Underground Sea. Thoughtseize. Why don't we fluster that? Okay. Get out of here. Our opponent is on 6 cards. We'll cast a Ponder. I would like to keep all of these. Maybe I was supposed to draw the Brainstorm next turn instead of the Sapphire Medallion. That is a mistake on my part. Or I could play Medallion now. Okay. We're allowed to play this one into days. I think that's what that means. And it resolves, so no days. Spicy. And they're just going to pass. We'll play another Sapphire Medallion. Pass the turn. Dress down. This is another way to get the Phyrexian Dreadnought onto the battlefield. There it is. Okay, so Dress Down is now sacrificed. We're drawing the Brainstorm. May I have a High Tide? They're going to Force of Will. I think I'm just going to pass. Let's Brainstorm, but I don't want to fight over that. Actually, we should probably still pass. Hide the Spiral. I don't know. Let's try that. We will pass the turn. They have 5 cards. Our opponent attacks for 12. Ouch, I'm at 6. They have a 3rd land, so this must have been their draw step. Let's fetch down to 5. How about another High Tide? Hardcast Force of Negation. We'll play a Clod of Faeries. That resolves. We'll untap 2 lands. And now we can Mind's Desire for 4, and we just kind of have to hope that that Desire is good enough. You could Time Spiral as well. I mean, it loses the days, or another Force of Will. I'm going to choose to believe in Mind's Desire here. Long pause from our opponent. Mind Desire. Force of Will. High Tide. I'd be okay with 2 untappers now, or a snap for this Clod of Faeries. A land. We need an untap effect or something good here. This is our last chance. Mind's Desire? Flusterstorm. We are dead. I can't play this, right? I guess I haven't played a land this turn, but I still can't do anything? Yeah, we're dead. Okay. Brutal. Alright, game 3. I'm going to resubmit. Game number 3. On the play this time. Ay. Essentially a mulligan to 5. Having both Brain Freeze and Jace. I'm terrified of Wasteland on this Mystic Sanctuary. Yeah, I'm going to mulligan. Okay. We'll keep and get rid of a Mind's Desire. Play the Misty Rainforest and pass. They play a Polluted Delta. Thoughtseize. I think I'm actually just going to let this happen. They've discarded our Mind's Desire and then Surgical Extraction. Well, we still have some Time Spirals in there. That is not the end of the world. We draw a Flusterstorm. I'm going to play out the Misty Rainforest, and by doing so, it just means that if I cast this Brainstorm off island, a second copy of Surgical Extraction won't hit a land out of my hand. We'll play the Brainstorm. More lands. Okay, we'll put back 2 lands for now and pass. Our opponent casts a Ponder. They did not shuffle, and then they played an Urza's Saga. Sure, so they have found a way to create their clock, which means I'm going to fetch away those extra lands. I thought about keeping them so I could eventually hardcast the Lorien Revealed, but I think it's probably a mistake now. High Tide. Alright, so we're a Time Spiral away from greatness. Dreadnought. Okay. So they must have Stifle here. Slip out the back. I'm going to Flusterstorm this to buy some time. Okay. And now the Dreadnought will be sacrificed. That said, they have an Urza Saga next turn that is going to hit the 3rd chapter, so I wouldn't be surprised if they have another Dreadnought attempt. Draw for turn. It's a land. Pass. They're going to Brainstorm. Okay. So this means that they probably don't have another Dreadnought attempt, which means we have more time, which I'm definitely into. They grab a Soul Guide Lantern, and they didn't float mana, so they can't sacrifice the draw this turn. Well, I guess if they have a fetch land, it doesn't matter. Okay. They still have 4 cards in hand. We drew another Fluster. I guess we'll pass. They found another Saga. Force of Will. I'm just begging for a Time Spiral now. Our opponent redrew both the cards they put back on Brainstorm, so their hand is probably fairly stacked at the moment. They activate Polluted Delta. It looks like they're just going to pass the turn. Another Force of Will. Okay. They're going to make a Construct token. And now they're making another. This might be a decent opportunity for us to try to win. I don't know if it'll work, but they definitely tapped low on mana, if not out. Alright, well they still have a fetch land available. 5 cards in hand. And we'll fall to 14 life here. Another Lorien Revealed. Well, it's now or never. High Tide. And that just resolved. We will cast a Cloud of Faeries. Triggers. Untap these. So, I need Lorien Revealed to hit something like a snap, because even if I draw a Time Spiral, I currently can't cast it. Uh-oh. This is an interesting spot to be in. We'll cast Snap on Cloud of Faeries. Untap, untap. Play the Cloud of Faeries. We can untap 2 lands. And then Lorien Revealed. Another High Tide, but not another untap effect. That's pretty brutal. We do have a chump blocker for a turn, but I'm not feeling super confident. Let's ponder. There's the Time Spiral and another High Tide. Okay. And now we will go to cleanup. I left the Spiral on top to protect it from discard. The downside is that I'm not able to cycle the Lorien Revealed this turn for another land. We'll discard Brain Freeze. Our opponent's attacking for 8, no blocks. If you would like to make a servo token in response to squeeze in a few extra damage, I will let you. Okay. They have 5 cards. I am pretty nervous right now. High Tide. What about another High Tide? Let's attempt a Time Spiral. Our opponent plays a Force of Will, pitching Brainstorm. We will Force of Will, exiling Lorien Revealed. The Force of Negation, exiling Likeness Looter. I will Force of Will, the Force of Negation, exiling Flusterstorm. Okay. Time Spiral. They have 1 card left in hand. They're going to exile my graveyard, so that does exile the Brain Freeze, but we still have the Jace to win with, but we're going to have to draw our entire deck. Maybe this isn't going to happen. We'll play our land, Sapphire Medallion, play another Sapphire Medallion. Let's attempt a snap on the Construct. Untap, untap. Attempt another snap on the Construct. Untap. Time Spiral. The Daze will gladly pay. Sure. Wow, it just resolved. I find that a little hard to believe, but I'll take it. Let's start off with a Ponder. I like all of these. Cast Lorien Revealed. Let's Ponder again. It's from 16. There's the Jace. Okay. 7 minutes left on our clock. We'll play Jace. They force, we'll force back. And they force, so they open double force on that, unfortunate. And now we'll Spiral. If they have a Surgical, we lose. The Brain Freeze got exiled, so... But they don't. Let's Brainstorm first. Because then we could shuffle away the extra lands. With a Ponder. Yep, shuffle those. Ponder again. Not bad. We'll take the Lorien Revealed. Cast the Lorien Revealed. Another Sapphire Medallion. High Tide. Let's snap the Cloud of Faeries. Untap. And then I'm going to cycle Cloud of Faeries, hoping to hit something good. Another snap. Bummer. Alright, we have to cast Time Spiral. Oh, I forgot to float mana. Whoops. Cast the Lorien Revealed. We're just like spinning our wheels at this point. 5 minutes left on clock. Brainstorm. Bunch of lands. Ponder. Shuffle. There's the Jace. Let's play it. Our opponent forces, we will force back. Alright, so this is a Force of Negation. If I don't Brainstorm into another counter, we lose the game. So I'm going to cycle Cloud of Faeries. I guess I could also cycle into a Flusterstorm. They're going to stifle my Cloud of Faeries. Okay, Brainstorm it is. Storm 38. There we go. Put 2 lands on top. Not a lot of clicking. I don't know how many High Tides I've cast. I'm just clicking as fast as I can. And now we'll target their Force Will a bunch. And then their Stifle a bunch. 4.5 minutes. I'm very nervous about this. Okay, so we're going to draw one of those lands now, unfortunately. Jace happens. I'll plus on myself. I don't think I'm going to be able to win this turn. And then we'll ponder. Alright, I'm just going to pass. We're not going to be able to combo win. We did a bunch of sweet stuff, but at this point we're kind of just manually winning with Jace, Wielder of Mysteries. Our opponent has 3 cards in hand and a Retrofitter Foundry. Sure, you can have a servo token. And then they turn that into a 1/1 flyer, that's fine. A little over 3.5 minutes to mill 10 cards and win with Jace, Wielder of Mysteries. Thoughtseize. I'm going to force this. I want the snaps to protect myself. There's a Saga, sure. They're coming at me. Interesting. I'm at 2. Excuse me. So we're going to draw the Cloud of Faeries. I will plus Jace on myself. Brainstorm, I love that. 2 lands can go back. Maybe I should have put back the Sanctuary, I don't know. We'll cast Ponder. Flusterstorm. Yeah, let's shuffle. We drew it anyway. Play a Cloud of Faeries. Untap and tap. Cloud of Faeries. Plenty of time left. Play a Delta. We'll pass. They create a 4/4. Sure. Urza's Saga goes up to the 2nd chapter. They're attacking me. I will block with a Cloud of Faeries. And then I'm going to snap the Cloud of Faeries. Cloud of Faeries has cycling, so we can use that to win with the Jace, Wielder of Mysteries. They're going to Force Will the snap. Okay. I will cast another one. Untap and tap. They play an Underground Sea. They have 1 card in their hand. On their end step, I will cycle this Cloud of Faeries, and this should be the game. 2 minutes left, plenty of time. Let's go to 1 life. Let's see what's left. Cloud of Faeries and a Flooded Strand. Let's Jace, Wielders of Mysteries targeting us. Our opponent says, GG's, what an awesome match. I agree completely, I'm a potato. Wow, we're 2-1, and that was absolutely nuts. Really, really exciting match. Let's go see if we can get the next 2. If you're still watching, make sure to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe. While you're near the description, here's a reminder to use our affiliate links if you're going to make a purchase from Amazon, Card Hoarder, or TCG Player. Just above those affiliate links, you'll find our social channels. Make sure to join those to connect with us. Let's try to get another one. We are in the 4th match and on the play. Keep. Something I secretly love about this deck list is that I already have a Japanese foil and signed Jace, Wielder of Mysteries from when it was slightly playable in Pioneer. The only things that I don't own in this deck list are Time Spirals, because I've never bothered to get them, and Spellseekers. We'll grab an island, play Ponder. We found land too. Keep. They play Flooded Strand. Another island matchup, okay. Retrofitter Foundry. You got it. Probably ninjas. We'll play the Polluted Delta and Sapphire Medallion. You know what? I mean, I almost did it before this video went live, but then I was like, the comment section is going to eat me up. I probably shouldn't even mention this, but I wanted to cut the Mystic Sanctuary just for another island because I think it makes mulligans worse, and it's not active very often. Stoneforge Mystic. Is this like breakfast? Well, I'm not actually a huge fan of the Sacred Mystic Sanctuary. I just don't think it's that good. At least in this variant of the deck. They pick up a Cauldra. Let's brainstorm. We can get rid of Jace and... it's either Force or Spiral. I think it's going to... I mean, maybe I should put back the Desire then? Alright. Cycle the Lorien Revealed. We will pass. The Fairy Time Raveler. I might as well Force a Will this. I kept this Force a Will to protect the Spiral. Maybe that's a mistake, but that was my thought process there. We drew another Lorien Revealed. So if I snap this, I essentially go up to 4 mana. I'm actually 1 short. But I could snap into Lorien Revealed, which I don't hate. So let's try that. Yeah, they're F6 too. And now we'll draw 3. We missed on land. Wow. Brutal. We will pass. Shuko. So they are breakfast. How about that? Illusionist. I will force pitching the Jace. I think you want another spiral in your deck when you resolve the first one. High Tide. Actually can't because I don't have a snap target. We will pass. Stoneforge Mystic is back. They grab another Shuko. Sure. Level up that Stoneforge. You've got it. They have 4 cards in hand. Quad of Faeries. High Tide. Cast the Quad of Faeries. Untap, untap. Make a little bit more mana. We'll cast Snap on Quad of Faeries. Play the Quad of Faeries again. Increase that storm count. Time Spiral. Lovely. Let's brainstorm. Put back the island and probably this Time Spiral. Play a Sapphire Medallion. Play the island. We'll play a Spellseeker for a single blue mana. Love that. Grab a Snap. Let's make some mana. We'll snap the Spellseeker. Untap, untap. Just looking to increase our storm count here. Spellseeker again. Yes. Grab the snap. You can figure out what we're doing here. Untap, untap. Play the Spellseeker. Term is 12. Grab another. There's tons of mana in Storm. And here we go. Another Spellseeker. Storm 14. Yes. We'll grab Ponder, I guess. Play the Ponder. We'll take Lorien Revealed. We will Spellseeker, untap, Spellseeker, and now we'll go get Brain Freeze. Might as well draw 3 cards first, though. Brain Freeze you. That was sweet. I mean, Cephalid Breakfast, you want to deck yourself, right? I'm just helping you out. Staff of the Storyteller. In an Orcish Bowmaster world, huh? Okay. Well, we've taken game number 1 from Breakfast. I do think we want Surgical Extraction. This is a heavily interactive matchup. So, I don't think we really want Echoing Truth. I think you're supposed to board out the Sapphire Medallions just because you have to be so interactive. And then let's board out Spellseekers. They're just a little clunky. Here we are. This hand seems fine enough. We are keeping. It looks like our opponent's taking a mulligan. Polluted Delta. Or a Tundra. Main phase Brainstorm. Okay, a little bit odd. This also might just be a sign saying like, hey, I need to find my second land, and if you're a crazy person playing Flusterstorm on a Brainstorm or Daze, I lose, so maybe they just had to find something there. I'm going to choose to not play into Daze, which might be insane, but some breakfast lists do play 2 or 3 days in there. And I don't want to lose to that card, so I'm going to choose to hold open my island. Although it's unlikely I get turn 2'd, so maybe I'm supposed to throw out the Ponder there. Who really knows? They play Polluted Delta. Or, I'm sorry, they activate Polluted Delta. And then a Ponder, sure. Yeah, I probably should have just thrown out the Ponder on the first turn. Mistake in hindsight. Lorien Revealed. Let's Ponder. I'm losing the ability to hold open Snap, but I think that's fine. And holy moly, that was good. Love that. Who's the control deck now? They play an Urza's Saga. Okay. Stoneforge Mystic. I think I'm going to shuffle away the other Surgical Extraction. They have 2 different pivot points here, and I don't want to get stuck not being able to win through their backup plans. They have 4 cards. I mean, they went and got Shuko. Am I crazy for wanting to draw a second Surgical here? Okay, here goes nothing. I'm going to draw it. Cycle the Lorien Revealed. Play the island and we'll pass. Urza Saga goes up to 2, and then they play another. That's an Illusionist. I'm going to do some auto-yielding here. They have 3 cards. I mean, if I lose from here, props to them, but I don't know. There's Dread Return, Cabal Therapy. We milled an Orcish Bowmasters. I'm trying to decide if I should Surgical a Cabal Therapy right now, and I think the answer is yes. So they have Force of Will backup, and there's only the 1 Therapy. Are there no Narcos in their deck? No, they're there. Not capable of reading. Okay. Yeah, Narcomoeba happens. And there's the third Narcomoeba. They milled over Thassa's Oracle as well. 9 cards left. They have 3 cards left now. Now they have no deck. How about a Surgical Extraction? Targeting Thassa's Oracle. And then I will Force a Will, your Force a Will, exiling Mind's Desire. Sweet. I am the control deck, don't you forget it. We're now 3-1 with 1 match left to go. With Card Hoarder, renting your favorite combo deck has never been easier. There isn't a more affordable solution for Magic Online. Want to play the deck in this video? Check out the pinned comment below to easily rent the deck from Card Hoarder. Did you know you can rent the Epic Storm from Card Hoarder for as little as 7 tickets a week? We've made it simple to do so by including a button to rent the entire deck at theepicstorm.com/decklist. Let's get it. I want the 4-1. Keep. We're going to lead on the Polluted Delta. Grab a basic island and cast Ponder. All of these are great. Pass the turn. There was a question raised on Twitter a couple months ago at this point, maybe 3 or 4 months ago, where Gavin Verhey asked if High Tide would be okay in Pauper. And the reality is, there's nothing good left in that format that untaps lands. And I say good because there's no Quad of Faeries, the Peregrine Drake is banned. Like, there's no turnabout. The only things that untap lands that are playable in that format are like Snap itself or Twiddle. So they daze our Sapphire Medallion, that's fine. And I tried building the most broken High Tide deck I could in Pauper, and it honestly was not very good. So I'd be interested in it being unbanned in that format. I would love to play some Pauper Tide. We drew another. You can't stop me. Sapphire Medallion. Daze that. They're going to force it. Pitching a force. Yeah, we take those. Opponent drawing back up to 6. This is likely an Orcish Bowmasters. I'll ponder. If they Bowmasters, I can respond with Brainstorm. Interesting. I think we put back these 2. Magic Online is not liking me right now. There we go. And then we'll fetch. So I'm going to take 1 off Bowmasters and then another off the Ponder. We find Spiral. Okay. I guess we keep that. Whoops, I need to play a land. Now we'll pass. Nice Wasteland. We'll take 3 down to 12. And then on their end step, let's shuffle our deck with the Lorien revealed. We'll pull out... I don't want to get Mystic Sanctuary, so we'll grab another island. I drew it anyway. Okay, so... how about a High Tide? They counter it? Man, I just misplayed. I should have tied and then play my land. That's definitely my own fault. They have 2 cards. We're going to pass. So this puts me down to 9. Yikes. I'm not feeling so hot about this right now. We'll take a draw. Another Lorien. So if I Mystic Sanctuary, put Tide on top, I take 6. Okay, so I think the solution is that I have to bounce the Orc token. Sure. Sanctuary down. Orcish Bowmasters. What a lame card. Bounce the Orc. Untap, untap. Our opponent has 2 cards in hand. So if I resolve this Time Spiral, I'm going to go to 1. Which means if they have another Orcish Bowmasters at any point, it is bad news for me. High Tide. Cycle Lorien revealed. We have 1 more island we can grab. Okay. Time Spiral. Mind's Desire is very good. We need our opponent to not have another Orcish Bowmasters. Okay. I'm going to 1. Sapphire Medallion. We'll play another Sapphire Medallion. And another Sapphire Medallion. Term is currently 5. Let's Echoing Truth the Orc Army. Just for Storm. And then Mind's Desire. Storm is 7. They're responding with a Brainstorm. Mind's Desire? Looks like they found a Bowmaster. We can hardcast Force of Will here. But if our opponent has anything, I'm dead. They respond with a Sauron's Ransom. I guess those are the piles? I don't think it really matters. Alright, Bowmasters has been countered. It's all up to this Mind's Desire for 7. Brainstorm is useless. Time Spiral. Ponder, not looking so good. Another Ponder. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, Quad of Faeries. I think we've lost. Unless this is like another Mind's Desire. Spellseeker. What am I able to do here? Alright, let's start on Quad of Faeries, I guess. Untap 2 lands. We'll play Spellseeker. What can I do? Oh, well, Storm's 13. I could Brain Freeze them out here. That's not bad. They have 40 cards. So Brain Freeze would be Storm 14, so that's 3 times 14 is 42, I believe. They only have 40 cards in deck. So I don't even need the snap lines. Let's just grab Brain Freeze. Target you. Is that good enough? Looks like our opponent's going to show us their whole deck. Okay. Sweet. We have stolen game number 1 from Dimir Scam. Whew. That was wild. I believe we want Pact of Negation, but I could be wrong. Echoing Truth doesn't seem that great here. I think I'm going to shave a couple copies of Sapphire Medallion. Maybe like 1 Time Spiral versus the Bowmaster deck. Let's try this. This hand's essentially a mulligan to 5 with both win conditions in it. I'm going to take an actual mulligan. This is a lot better. We'll keep this. Get rid of the Lorien Revealed. Underground Sea, pass the turn. Love it. Land 3, we'll cast Ponder. These are all great. They play a main phase Brainstorm looking for land number 2. Blooded Strand. With only having 2 Sapphire Medallions in the deck, I'm going to just pass here and accept that I need to play around Daze. Okay. We're drawing a land and I'm okay with that. Like, I think land 4, or I thought we were drawing a land. Land 4 would have been good, but I'll take a snap too. Play the Medallion. They force pitching Brainstorm. I want the Medallion, so I'm going to fight here. Sapphire Medallion. They Brainstorm in response. Sapphire Medallion. Ayy, pass the turn. Looks like they're going to have an end-step Orcish Bowmaster. Sure thing. Opponent still has 4 cards in hand. Petty Theft on my Medallion. That's not very nice. Ouch. We'll take 2 down to 15. We draw a Lorien Revealed. Let's go pull an island out of our deck. And then we'll play the Sapphire Medallion. Pass. Main phase Sauron's Ransom. So the top pile is shown, and the bottom one isn't. We're going to try to trick them into taking the bottom pile. And they did. So we know that they have a Troll of Khazad-dûm in hand. Brutal! Ah, grief. That's going to discard our Desire here. But we have the Mystic Sanctuary to get it back. Alright, I take back every bad thing I said about Mind's Desire. Sorry, mixing up my words here. I take back every bad thing I said about Mystic Sanctuary. The card is perfect. Okay. We're at 13 in our upkeep. We will fetch. Grab that Mystic Sanctuary. Put Mind's Desire right back on top. Yes. We'll play Cloud of Faeries. Untap, untap. And then I'm going to snap my Cloud of Faeries. Do you have a removal spell? It would be pretty devastating here. They do not. I love it. Okay. Cloud of Faeries again. Storm is 3. Untap. Mind's Desire. Storm 4. We flipped another Desire off the first Desire. Spellseeker. Pact of Negation. And a Time Spiral. I think this game is over. Spellseeker. Yes. Let's grab a snap. Let's bounce the Bowmasters. And our opponent concedes! We got a 4-1 with Desire Tide. I loved this deck list. Obviously, we didn't get to use the whole sideboard today. We never faced a prison deck. But, I mean, I don't have strong opinions about this Teferi Realm card. I know that Marcus, the High Tide God, absolutely loves this card. I'm not a super huge fan, but I thought I would try it today. Never really came up. We never faced prison, so Hurkyl's Recall, Echoing Truth I thought was fine, but this deck list felt really good to me. You might want a third Spellseeker. I don't know. I tried to fit it in. I really did, but I couldn't figure out what the cut was. So I think if you want to play it, you could go down to 3 copies of Sapphire Medallion, which I don't like. I actually really love all 4 when you're playing Snap Cloud of Faeries, or you end up cutting like the 4th Time Spiral. But I thought this deck list was great. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. Have a great day. And as always, keep storming. What you should do is like, comment, and subscribe because there's no better way to support us. And if you enjoyed this video, head over to moxfield.com and follow us there. It's truly the best deck website on the internet. We update all of our decks there regularly with the latest and greatest technology, so you're always up to date. Once again, go check out Moxfield, and thank you for watching.